Thanks for being here. We'll align our skull, the very top, the top of skull, over what we perceive to be the very tip of the tailbone. So this is an approximate. There's benefit to feeling this in a nuanced way. So getting the exact center of head as you perceive it, aligned directly over the tip of the tailbone. And having this precision in interior work offers us a quality of attention that I find is really soft, gentle, almost always appropriate. So it's just a certain touch that comes with precision. I'm feeling your breath spread between these areas. We're establishing this breath-core connection. We'll work rounds of Uddiyana this morning, but the exhale will be prolonged. So if you've grown accustomed or habituated to that really sudden, forceful, windy exhale, it won't be that. So we'll do this in a patient, in a steady way. So gently reaching down through the tailbone, inhale. So this is drawing that breath right from the ground like well, like spring water, well water, right up. Now pause, hold breath. And what do you know about your breath and your body today just by holding it? 10 count exhale. So those last few counts, we'll set the hands in front of the shins, lower the chin, draw the belly in. So we're truly expressing all of that breath, that prana from that lowest belly area. Relaxing the belly, taking breath when you need it. Okay. We'll do that a couple more times. The length of the Uddiyana hold doesn't really matter. We're just going to go through it patiently so that we can explore what am I feeling and sensing in my body and my gut. Inhale from the ground through the tip of the tailbone and the pelvic floor. Feeling that breath spread from the low belly up under the heart into the brain. Pause. And again, what can you learn about your breath, your body, by simply holding them together? Holding, feeling breath, holding, feeling body. 10 count exhale. And as you're getting toward that end of exhale, plant those hands in front. Draw the belly in. Feeling the very depth of low belly. Are you pressing on something? Are you extricating something? What is that interplay like in the low belly? Is there a vacancy? Is there a substance there? All right, final round on your own. As you're exhaling, do you feel that breath move from a location to a location? Now after that round, we'll set our right leg out. We'll be going through a bunch of neck and shoulder things. This is entirely optional. Sometimes I'll put a block on the inside of my leg just so that I'm not leaning over as far. It's entirely optional. We'll start with the left hand reaching out away from the ear. So the left hand is reaching out over the back edge of the mat. Light touch of reach through that inner right leg. Inhale. From right hip to left side neck. From right hip to left side neck and ear. Just noting, do you tend to foreground the feeling of the neck, or do you tend to foreground the feeling in the right groin? So you'll notice how there's certain sensations that you can choicefully foreground or background. And just noting if you have any habituation or a tendency to bringing one up over the other. What would that be like if I could feel the left shoulder and the right hip in a kind of a quality of feeling? Could I sense those simultaneously? Okay, inhale, just draw the left arm up, almost vertical as we move into a chest opener. And then exhale, reach out through that left arm. So reaching out through the right leg. Side bend. Now wrapping that left shoulder, drawing it overhead. Perhaps this gives you a little more access to the back of the shoulder, the back of the left shoulder, the shoulder blade. Can you feel the front of the left shoulder and the back of the left shoulder? Can you foreground what you're sensing in the back of the left shoulder so that it's more readily apparent or prominent? Can you feel the back of the left shoulder without eliminating the front of the left shoulder, without dropping it or losing? And forward fold. Inhale, bring this left hand down to the ground. Oh. Now you're welcome to put the hands in front of the pelvis. You're welcome to place the hands around the right leg. Just any basic fold is perfectly fine. We're not going for depth. At this point in our practice, I just want to throw out some almost like exercises, like flexibility of depth, perceptual depth. This ability to zoom in and zoom out, to get really up close and fine and granular, but also to step back and see the larger gestalt. It's a really crucial skill to have that flexibility of depth perception. It gives us refinement in deciding what really matters. Right? If our perception is stuck, then whatever it's stuck on matters. But if I have this flexibility of perception, I get even more granular. What is really important? What do I truly care about? What matters? Inhale, let's walk the hands back up. And we'll switch sides. So we've got the left leg out and the right knee bent. We'll start with that outreach of right hand. Right hand, palm face down, is reaching for the back edge of the mat by allowing this head to hang a little bit left. Connecting to breath. And we might just at first feel these singular or these discrete locations. We might take a breath to feel the right collar. Breathing in and through the right collar. And we may shift momentarily to discreetly feel the left groin as you're pressing through the foot. Feeling that inner leg turn on. And we might take a breath more to feel both simultaneously. This is how you're getting a different perception of your body, a different bodily sense with each refocusing, with each change of your bodily aperture. Draw the right arm up, chest opener. Just reaching that right side chest away from the left hip. And you can use that left hand or left arm, Connie. And what might be cool is pressing in any way suitable, giving that chest, that upper part of the sternum, a little lift. There you go. And then you can feel that breath behind that upper sternum, that upper lung area. Side bend, wrapping the right shoulder, reaching it overhead. One of the parts to wrapping the shoulder, it can give us a really cool inventory, if you will, of the back of the heart. It's really important when we do any kind of heart work. We feel the back of the heart, the center of the heart, the front of the heart, the side of the heart, the bottom of the heart. Forward fold. Inhale, bring the right hand down to the ground. You may walk your hands, both of them, along the inside of your leg, or you may want to flank your left leg with your hands. They behave a little differently in the back, so your hand position can be modulated. Inhale, walk, hands back upright. Great. Lie back, and we'll start some abdominal sequence. We'll start lying on back. Have your roll nearby. Oh yeah, there you go. All right, elbow to knee. Good old-fashioned elbow to knee. Let this predominantly serve as a way to inhabit and investigate the low belly. Inhale the head and the shoulders off the ground. Find the tip of the tailbone. If you move just the tip of the tailbone, that can help us focus or feel the low belly. Exhale, reach out through the left leg. The lower you reach that leg, the more challenging it is on the abdomen as part of keeping the back on the ground. And now draw the low belly down as you stretch that left foot away from your face. Inhale, bend that left knee. The breath, the abdominal pressure helps keep that low back against the ground. And curl tailbone. Exhale, stretch the right foot away from your face. So if you're back sensitive, go a little higher with the leg. If you want to challenge the abdomen, you can reach the leg just a little bit lower, like 45 degree. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend that right knee. So you know very well how these go. Please continue. We'll do 5 more on each side. Gwen, that's a lot of abdominals today. Yes. Our attempt will be to get a little warmer. And play with this as we focus, as we keep locating ourselves in this one singular place in the body. Does that have any correspondence with the perception of thermal changes in the body? Back still on the ground. Pull the belly down, stretch this away. Back still on the ground. Back still on the ground. There you go. Stretch it away. Back still on the ground. Yeah. Drawing belly down. So by maintaining this kind of singular focal point in the low belly, if you need to close eyes to feel that singular point, is there a thermal change or an intensity change? So these are just ways that we start to feel energy. If that's something that you're not accustomed to yet, it's kind of a portal or an entryway. Because as we focus in the body, on the body, in the body, with repetition, with enduring frequency, we start to see or feel something else. It's not just a solid mass of physical body. It starts getting really interesting. grab a hold of your roll. And we place that roll between legs. I can take that one if you want that one. And we'll reach legs skyward. So keeping both halves of pelvis on the ground. If you know you have a little like torsion or part of your pelvis twists a little bit, you may get better effect by putting your feet on a wall, a little pressure on the soles of the feet. These are things that work really, really well when the pelvis is in a nice kind of symmetric relationship to each other. But if we have like half of a hip kind of over contracting, or one hamstring is like really chronically wound, some of these abdominals can seem to bother and exacerbate those hip pains. So just a note, inhale into the low belly, low back. Now hold that, squeeze the object. Squeeze it up. Curl tailbone, exhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. And would you be willing to get quite empty of breath? So expressing that with those low belly muscles, get way, way empty, and then draw the belly down, getting so close to empty. Inhale. As you set the head down, the legs release off that squeeze. Hold breath, squeeze. Turning on those inner legs. Curl tailbone, exhale the head and the shoulder blades up just a little bit. And get really empty of breath. Keep working with that low belly. Keep drawing it in. When you feel as empty as you can be, now pull the belly down without exhaling. Just pull it way, way down and in. Good. Inhale, set the head down. Letting those legs kind of let go some of that squeeze. And now re-squeeze. Curl tailbone, exhale, head and shoulders up. Keep finding the low belly. Keep working with the low belly through the exhale. And then when there's no more exhale, draw that low belly down all on its own. There you go. That's it, cat. Inhale, head to ground. That breath come in. Let that breath wash in. Squeeze that thing. Exhale, curling tailbone. Float head and shoulders up. Increase the squeeze if you dare, drawing the belly down and down, going a little emptier than you might think to. Inhale, head to ground. Hold that breath just for a moment. Squeeze the object. Give it a good squeeze. That's a joy. Curl tailbone. Exhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. And work that low belly through the exhale. So the belly moves to exhale. There's no more exhale, so I pull that belly down a little bit further, like I'm really drawing back a slingshot. And inhale, let that belly soften. The head comes down to the ground. Squeeze that roll. Exhale, curling the tailbone, float the head and the shoulder blades up. Keep working with that low belly. It's not upper abdominals. We'll just get stiff with those. Use a low belly to exhale, a low belly to empty, empty, empty. Good. Last 3 on your own. Get some real size over here. Part of the design of these is to move energy that may have become kind of wedded in and unmoving through the pelvis and the gut. And so part of the design, this breath work, this kind of focus, this leg work, turning on all these deep, deep pelvic kind of stabilizers and is to get energy moving through the colon, the gut, the pelvis, our procreative regions. So if we're not so interested in what we feel, we might be missing some of the gifts of these tools, these techniques. Yeah, go all the way right up through here. Yeah, press, reach, 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 reach all the way. Push me away. There, just, woo-hoo-hoo, push me away. There you go. With the movement of energy, so with the movement of emotions, with a movement of breath, with the movement of kind of the thermal changes in the body, with movement, there's depth. Without that movement, I find there's a stasis, a two-dimensionality. We'll set up for bridge, and we'll start feet hip width apart. Inhale into low belly, low back. Exhale, tailbone shifts, buttock lifts. Now I'll recommend once you're up in bridge, place that block under sacrum. And as you inhale the chest away from the block, reach the thigh bones away from the block. We'll work Halfwarasana. So left hand grab left ankle. You're drawing the foot back. The top of foot on the ground. Now, if the top of the foot remains on the ground without your hands' help in remaining there, I offer this. Hands, thumb and forefinger, can be placed over the hip bone, around the waist. And you can create a little push of pressure, as if pressing the hips away from the chest. As you inhale the chest away from the hips. That right foot pressing down on the earth, my sense is it does more for your sacrum, it does more for your left hip, your low back, your psoas, your deep, deep hip structures than sitting on the block. The block is more of just a low watermark. Like, don't go below it. But your right foot is actually helping your left hip. The pelvis is such an orchestra, it's such a symphony of like movement and stasis and relational structural parts. So we need the working foot, we need the freedom. So ensure that right foot is pressing, the back of that right leg is supporting, the back of that right leg is, you'll feel it, it's shifting the pelvis. If you kind of grab that ground and get that back of right leg felt, you'll feel there's a little shift in the pelvis due to that right leg. There you go, that's it, Michelle, that's it. Now inhale into that low back, that deep, deep hip structure. It can feed right into those hip bones and the low back bones. Just finding out what that breath can do for us in that, under that diaphragm and that psoas. Good. Let's release left foot and we'll set it down. Halfwarasana, right hand grab right foot. Now again, if you draw the foot back and the foot can remain on the ground without your hand's help, you may enjoy using the hands on the waist and applying that little bit of tractioning pressure. It can be very sweet on that low back. With all those abdominals, we've been emphasizing working the low belly as your way of exhaling. That low belly, when it's a part of your breath, touches in and touches through these deeper hip structures that organize the hip socket, the thigh bone. So your breathing has a lot of influence and partnership with your pelvis. Maybe you notice as you're pulling that belly down, exhaling thoroughly, maybe even feel that little tug on the insides of the hip bones. Maybe you can feel that tugging and massaging some of those organs. There you go. When we release the right foot, use both feet pressure. Press off that block. And we'll begin our descent. Bring the upper back to the ground, then feel the mid back. Then feel that lower mid back. And then the low back in the buttock. There you go. All right. When you turn to a side, when you press up, we're going to love on these shoulders. So we got some really great breaths going in that Virasana, in that bridge, at least I hope. We're not done with those great breaths. Please don't be done with those great breaths. Great. So let's set up on elbows and knees. You're welcome to clasp hands or place the palms on the ground. If you're going palms down, let's take an extra setup moment. Raise the palms, and then as fully as possible, connect the wrist, the palm, meat of the hands down, and then reconnect those hands. Inhale. Feeling that breath through the back and the sides of the heart. Curling the toes under with your neck relaxed. Exhale with the low belly, guiding the knees off the ground. So with many of these poses, I'm going to ask us to sense at least a place or two in the body. And for many, this tends to make the shoulder area a rather prominent feature in our experience. What we'd just been working was this belly and this deep pelvis, deep back area. Inhale into the back of the heart, back of the ribs. You open up the hand, plant it down, reaching. There you go. Exhale with the low belly muscles, as if lifting that low abdomen away from the back of the heart. Exactly. Yeah, that's it, Kat. That's it. So if we have these two areas to almost balance our awareness between the back of the heart and the low belly. Reach out, reach out, reach out. There you go. Reach, 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 plant, smush. Push, push all the way through those hands. There you go. Okay. I'm going to get right. When I'm working that low belly, I almost feel my low belly moving away from my elbows. Exhalation lifts, moves my low back away from my heart. That's it, that's it, that's it. And I'll just take 2 or 3 deep breaths more. Low belly moves. And then gently set knees down. Now, I'm not a big fan of prescriptive yoga poses. Like I don't really like that approach. But if you feel a lot of pressure in the head, especially after doing things like bridge or deep, hip work or some such, there's something pretty amazing about breathing with the low belly as a way of encouraging a softness and release through the brain and the neck and the head area. Okay. When we come to standing, the top of mat, just gently lift through the throat, feeling the brain and the skull, almost like a helium balloon, just kind of lifting away from the sacrum. It's kind of this effortless adjustment that can free up the whole spine. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Shifting the tailbone slightly and gently down. Exhale, fold forward. Allowing the neck and the head, the weight of them, start to hang. Inhale, step the left foot back, lunge. We'll place the top of the left foot down, and exhaling, press. And if you lift the knee off the ground, that's fine. If you end up bringing the hands off the ground, that's fine. But keep reaching back through that inner left leg, all the way through that big toe. So now that pressure through the right foot matters a lot to growing lengthier, more buoyantly through the low back. And some of you working with some pelvic, we'll call them asymmetries just to be general and whatnot. You may have to play around with engaging the hamstrings in lunge. That can be a really cool work as your pelvis is finding the new relationships. So for an example, I might feel like I can pull my right heel toward my right butt and get a totally different set of interesting points. Inhale, set that left knee softly down, hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. We'll step the right foot back and lower all the way down. Bring the hands off to the sides for shoulder shrugs. Inhale, hands lift, chest lifts just a little bit, that's all we need. Exhale, squeeze tops of shoulders, and then squeeze the middle parts, and then squeeze the bottom tips. We'll do another, inhale. And exhale, squeeze the tops, and then the middle parts, and then the bottom tips, and release. Inhale, hands under chest, curl those toes under, exhale, downward dog. Remain in downward dog. In these 2 deep breaths here, you gotta remember, re-stoke that low belly way of exhaling. When we exhale with the low belly, it can have this taffy quality, this extricative and taffy-like quality to it. To be very clear, it's not an athletic brace. I'm not rigidifying. I'm actually liquefying, in a sense, just fluidizing that deep, that lower gut. There you go. Inhale, step left foot forward for lunge. With the top of the right foot down, exhale, press. And if that knee lifts, great. If you end up bringing the hands up off the floor, that too is cool. There aren't a lot of occasions in yoga, admittedly, to involve the backs of the legs in an active, really like meaningful way. But we do have a bit of an opportunity here. So if your knee is past 90 degrees, if it's less than 90 degrees, meaning you're like really lunging in there, you can start to pull that heel, that left heel, toward the left butt. So if you start to do that, you can probably take the hands off the leg if you want. As you pull the left heel toward the, there you go, pull back. Good. Now, do hands. Okay. There you go. That's it, Joy, that's it. Yeah, it's a good one. Backs of legs. There you go. Yeah, so it's like a pulling back action of the, there you go. There it is. There's a great deal of support that the pelvis gets from that. Good. Inhale, we'll gently set the knee, the hands down. Exhale, step back, chaturanga, and we'll lower all the way down. Those backs of legs are so vital to pelvic structure. Cobra, inhale. As I reach the tailbone down, I can use my hamstrings. I can use the backs of my legs. Now, that's going to take a little bit of just kind of fooling around to find that. Like, how do I use my hamstrings to shift my pelvis? Inhale, come on up into Cobra. And exhale, lower down, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forward, warrior one. Moving into eagle, so exhale your left elbow over your right elbow. So getting these backs of legs to engage in a way that adjusts the pelvis, again, it can take, if you're not accustomed to doing things like making those work deadlifts and squats, it's going to take a little bit of finessing. Because a lot of what our yoga has to offer is kind of opening up and stretching the backs of the legs. But now I'm asking you, can you get the back of the left leg working so it actually pulls on that left sit bone? And to me, the feeling is making my left hamstring, the back of my left leg, kind of toward the ceiling. There it is. That's it, Kat. That's it. There it is. There it is. Yep. It's like push right back into me. There you go. There you go. That's it. I hope that feels nice in there. It looks like so steady. There's a quality of steadiness that is just unmatched. So you get that back hamstring to help you out in your stance. It really adjusts that pelvis in a way that's super cool on the back. Inhale, lifting that upper back away from that working left leg. Exhaling, glide the shoulders down. That back left leg, it's still working. It's almost got the feeling where I'm trying to drag my left heel to the back of my head without it lifting off the ground. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's exactly it, Kat. Good. Release. Inhale, hands to the ground. Exhale, chaturanga. So if you can get the backs of the legs working as you lower, I think you'll find that the abdomen doesn't sag nearly as like what it could. Okay. So again, can I get the backs of the legs working to shift the tailbone down? Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. We'll give ourselves a couple extra breaths in downward dog, because I want us to keep remembering that low belly. So as we're exhaling with the low belly, you feel that taffy-like motion, that belly moving in toward the spine, lifting and moving the sacrum away from the collarbone. And so maybe, and if you need to do this with bent legs, Kara, that's okay. Like if you're not quite, I'm not sure if your downward dog is narrow or what, but if you need to keep the legs bent for your back, if that's something that you're, there you go. And sometimes I can shift the legs back if my knees are a little bent. All right, we've got that warrior one on the other side. Inhale, left foot forward. And for eagle, this eagle, we're exhaling the right elbow over the left. When our hamstrings kind of lose the fidelity of engaging, there's inner and there's back and there's a bunch of these back of thigh muscles. When that fidelity is lost, often rotation of the hip goes missing also. And you'll feel that as some of those hamstrings start to perk on, you'll start to feel how the hip is almost reorganizing in a rotational way. It's pretty stunning. Legs are cool. Push back onto me. There we go. There you go. There you go. And really holding that back leg on as I commit to these deep breaths. That is it. Yeah, that's it. Cat. There you go. Push into me. There you go. Good. We'll just be here another breath or two. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the lips as you're engaging this back leg. Here you go. There, that's it. That was good. Push. There you go. Good. Keep push me. There you go. And inhale. Unwind the arms, hands to ground. Nice work. Exhale, chaturanga. If I can it's almost like lifting my hamstrings toward the ceiling. Inhale, upward dog. Cobra if it feels better on your back. Exhale, downward dog. So let's pause here. You can sit your knees down or stand. We'll make a move to the wall. And I want to give us a chance to even more deeply get into the chest wall. And we did this earlier in the week, so you get another go through, some of us. We're working this chest opener on the wall. it will look like forearm balance, or it will look like dolphin on the wall. Let me remind you visually, and then you decide if you're kicking up into this move or stepping up into this move. So the appearance is like forearm balance. However, instead of a vertical torso, it's more of an arc through the spine. My hands are clasped. Kind of reaching that hamstring toward the wall, the butt toward the wall, and there's the arch. So I hope you can see that as I'm pressing the chest away from the wall. Press the butt off the wall when you need to descend. If you're not kicking up, this is the move for you. Turn it around. Same arm setup, clasped hands, knees press, walk up the wall, get those heels pressing, almost digging into the wall. Those are my hamstrings that help to lift my butt up, arching the chest toward the wall. The object here is to bring breath into the chest, deep chest. It's not to exploit the shoulder joint. So if you feel like your shoulder's getting exploited and it's like gross, we need to back out and reassess. All right, I'm here for you. If you need me to say something again, show something again, let me know. Just do a wave, do some noise. Yeah. Make sure you bring the knuckles right up to the wall. Those of you kicking up, knuckles real close to the wall. It's clasped hands. Good. Now, Joy, keep scooching the butt up the wall until you're on the brink of the butt coming off the wall. Yep, keep sliding up. Good. Keep sliding it up. If it comes off the wall a millimeter, that's pretty awesome. There you go. So those legs are really quite active this whole pose. That's it, Carol, that's it. And it's that little pressure that gets me into that arm pressure that foregrounds the chest. So those heels kind of flex into the wall. There you go. And then pushing through the hands. There you go. Gives you that little extra chest area. Find. There you go. Keep going, legs. I'll give you just a little nudge up here as I push those hamstrings right up into me. There you go. See how that kind of operates your pelvis. Push those hammies right up into my knuckles. There you go. Yeah, those things. That's cool. All right. Nice. All right. Seems there's a natural conclusion. When you're done with that wall item, feel free to move back where you want to continue working. find your roll or your block. Roll preferably. And place it right between the legs. Hands on hips. We'll do it standing now. This is the mild version. In some moments from now, we'll do it against the wall. Let some of your weight rock into the heels, not exclusively, but just because when I'm connected through my heels, I'm more apt to feel that my hamstrings work. When my hamstrings work, my pelvis shifts by way of hamstrings, I'm less apt to contract those upper butt muscles, which can tighten down on back and nerve. So it's kind of a bottom-up approach to back love. So heels, hammies, my pelvis shifts. I'm less apt to clench my upper butt and my back. Hands on hips. And again, this is just a little detail, because if you work with back pain or hip or pelvic, things, learning how to turn off or relax this upper butt, right here, the top of the pelvis, is really nice. That can be one of the most relieving thing for those back pain. So I put my fingers, I'm putting my thumb right on my glute, the very top of my glute. So I shift heels, hands, pelvis shifts. Now inhale, I'm pressing my hands down on that top butt muscle and lifting the low back. Now, if I have a tendency to contract or clench my pelvis or my back muscles, I'll feel it right away under my thumb, and then I can start sorting through, how do I relax that? How do I relax that? There you go, exactly. I'm breathing right underneath those thumbs, right underneath those pelvic bones. Keep pressing, lifting up. So I'm literally pushing the muscle fibers, the muscle bundles of my top butt. I'm pushing them down away from my backbones. There we go. Now, I hope that gives the back some more freedom. I hope that feels really good. Good. Now we'll let that go. We'll let the the roll go, just any old place. Inhale, bend knees, reach the arms up, chair. Exhale, fold, softening through the neck. Inhale, monkey. Move the chest away from the lap. And exhale, step back, lower, chaturanga. Keep almost lifting my hamstrings toward the sky. That'll help the pelvis. There you go. Inhale, upward dog. Cobra is an option. Exhale, downward dog. Now in downward dog, whether your heels touch the ground or not, feel your hamstrings, the backs of the legs, moving away from your nose. Almost. Yeah. Thorough, low belly exhale. Do this as those hamstrings, as those backs of legs are reaching away from your nose. Feel that low belly, taffy, like moving through all that colon and uterus and bladder area. Discs of the low back. There you go. Inhale the right foot forward, warrior one. We'll go hands on hips. Okay, so just like before, I'm gonna get that back of left leg. It's not a saggy affair. It's not like an Elvis thing. I'm gonna put this back leg on that wall behind me. Hands on hips will just give me the sense of, do I clench up around my back and my upper butt? Inhale, press with the hands. Lift through the spine. Reaching back through that left thigh. Getting a little chest opener. I squeeze those elbows back. And release. Inhale, raise the left arm for twisting warrior. Exhale, hook that arm over the right thigh. Now, left leg. How you doing there in the turn it on department? There it is. Exactly. So keep moving or intoning that left back thigh. Moving toward that wall behind me. That's it, that's it, that's it. Yeah. Reach all the way. See if you can get that hammy to turn on, Joy, that back of left leg. Almost like it's lifting out toward that window. You'll feel the knee straighten more completely. There's a kind of reaching the knees range of motion. There you go. There we go. Inhale, unwind, hands to ground. Exhale, step back, lower. Inhale, upward dog. Cobra if you wish. As I push the tops of the feet down, I'm straightening the knees, almost like I'm lifting my hammies toward the sky. It actually makes it nicer on my pelvis and back. Exhale, downward dog. Staying in downward dog, 2 additional breaths. I don't want us to just pant through the post upward dog breaths. I want us to reinstate and get that low belly helping us out. There you go. Now we'll do that warrior one setup other side. Inhale the left foot forward. Warrior one. We're going hands on hips. I'm using my thumb pads, my hands, to little like press down on and soften and relax that upper glute, the top of my butt. And then as I work that back leg toward that wall behind me, the bottom part of my butt engages. And releasing. I'm going to keep that right leg working though. Inhale the right arm up, twisting warrior. Exhale, right arm over left thigh. I find that when we get really warm in our yoga, maybe we have a great kind of sunny patch, we sweat pretty easily, or just have a great heater system. A lot of these bundlings, they start to move more freely, like these leg muscle bundles. If you're regularly doing yoga in cooler or comfortable, not hot temperatures, you might want to just consider finding a great massage therapist to just once in a while just help you move through and unbunch some things. Temperature makes an enormous difference on tissue quality. Tissue changes enormously with temperature. Oh yeah. Inhale, unwind, hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. And lift the hammies toward the sky as I lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. All right. Inhale. Let's step the feet forward, monkey. Exhale, fold. Softening through the neck. Chair pose. Inhale, bend the knees, reach the arms up. And then stand. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, let's do a little science magic experiment. Don't you love these? Okay. I just want you to fold and touch your fingertips to whatever area of the leg or the ground they just happen to touch. Just do it a few times as long as it's non-provocative. And I just want you to notice how it feels to fold. Just 2 or 3. You're just setting a baseline. You're just kind of feeling that out through your back and your legs. I know we've done a bunch of work so far, so good. Now, some science. Magic science. Take your little hands, get right up under your skull. Just give a nice, sometimes I'll use my other hand and just give it a little massage right under the base of the skull. Both sides, the left side and the right side. It doesn't have to be like anything super in-depth or too serious. Great, that's plenty. Now, reinvestigate those folds. Just do 1, 2, or 3 folds. And just feel how that fold, if that fold feels different, how your back feels when you do it, the backs of your legs, just 1, 2, or 3 folds, just touching, come back up. Does that make a difference? So if you feel a difference, you have my permission to bug whomever is in your house. Say it's for yoga, it's for the greater cause of science and the arts. You must massage my neck. I will fill out the certificate. I will authenticate such a. So now grab your roll, and we're heading to the wall. We're working a standing back bend, but let me show you from an angle, and I hope you can see, yes, this part of the wall. Good. So standing a foot to begin. I'm going to use those backs of legs and really pull. And then with my pelvis on the wall, you may have to adjust a little bit this way and that way. I can feel both halves of my pelvis on the wall. I can keep both halves of my pelvis on the wall. And now I begin my back bend. Okay. And so this is like this is a little bit of a camel cobra hybrid. I just like it because so seldom do we get to feel our pelvis in space while backbending, and the wall will give you a lot of information about pelvic rotation, hip, all these rotations that our body is subject to. So please find a section of wall, use your prop. Do you want a rollover block? Totally up to you. I like having mat under my feet, but totally up to you. And you can use that mat if you want. Okay. So start about 6 or 12 inches from the wall. So there's a little bit of a, kind of really have to pelvis forward. Yeah, and exactly. Make sure that roll's not in the way. Hands on hips. And I'm taking a moment to get each half of the pelvis rather equally touching exactly the wall. Now I press back through the hammies and the heels, pushing down with the hands. Let's begin this. Telescoping the ribs up the wall. If you tend to shift your weight into one foot more than the other, this may get illuminated here. Sometimes we adopt some really interesting back and hip patterns because we have got more weight on one foot than the other. And I'm just going to give you a little pressure here. If it becomes too much on the front of your pelvis, just let me know. Good. And send those hammies back at me. There you go. And so your hands, as they press down on the hips, can help you telescope. There you go. Keeping those legs so vibrant. There you go. Come on, left leg. Where are you, hammy? There you go. There you go. If I'm pressing unevenly, you just tell me. And once you take about 6 to 8 breaths, you can just pause for a moment. You can stand, you can, okay. There you go. Let's do a second round. I know this is going to get us really close to time, but I hope we have just a few extra minutes past our usual stop point. This won't go too long, but I want you to have a second round. Let's say 4 to 8 breaths. You might like to adjust the footing. You'll notice the further I am away from the wall, the more bendy it is through the back. The closer I am to the wall, the less my legs have to work. I like when the legs have to work a good amount. And if the pelvis, I should have said this, doesn't quite touch the wall, we can use 1 or 2 blocks. So if there's a little difference between maybe the abdomen and the hip and the thighs, we can put blocks near the hips, and that will give you the surface to give you that feedback. Okay. Got the hips against the wall. 2. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Good. Now push those hammies back at me. There you go. Good. Keep pressing those hamstrings back. Like you're pulling the hammies away from the wall. Good. Now, as you inhale, push with the hands. Telescope. Ham stay on. I know it can be challenging to breathe into the back while those leg muscles are turned on, but that's, there you go. Keep pushing those hammies back. There you go. Both pelvis halves on the wall, and if I'm pushing uneven, let me know. There you go. All right. So consider your dismount. So very pelvis-centric back bend. Have a seat. And we'll take the left arm, reach over, rest it on the head, tipped to the left. Okay. And lift that arm off of the head. Just let the chin go centrally. I'm going to switch sides. I tried one with the weight of the arm on the head, and then I pinned my hand. I'm going with the hand pin today, so just a little extra. So if my head is tipped to the right, I'm using my right arm as weight. If I incur some significant change of leg muscle tension, or if some pattern has adjusted itself or reorganized around my pelvis and my back, I find that I'll often be contending with that reorganization in and through the head. It'll feel like pressures are kind of off or a little funky. So I just think it's really nice to touch in with the skull. So you may have noticed that when we did that little experiment with the fold and the massage, okay, how that neck and just those little areas, a little palpating, a little bit of conscious breathing into, can really help with that whole reorganization of the spine, the pelvis. Okay, we'll lift that right arm weight off the head. Let the chin roll centrally and lie back for Shavasana. When we began our practice, we were playing with, can I feel a discrete area? Can I feel two areas? Can I foreground one or background the other? All of this is just a play, a study in depth, perceptual depth. And so here, post backbend, can you breathe into the sacrum and the pelvis? Can you breathe into and feel the two halves of the brain or the skull? And can you feel the head and the pelvis simultaneously? Do they respire in similar ways? Do they respire in tandem? Do they respire in their own unique pulsing rhythm? When you're ready, Bend knees. Turn to a side. And use your hands so that when you press, you can feel how the spine just kind of undulates unforcefully up to seated. Namaste.